those lights a little bit lower. Okay. Good morning. It's wonderful to see you here after 3 years. The last Board of Governors that has been held in person took place 3 years ago when I just entered office. So it's really delightful to see you all here. Especially I want to thank to those people who came from far away, from abroad, even though Israel is, for some people, are not very attractive now due to the wave of terrors that we are undergoing. So thank you for being here. Let me start by mentioning 2 points that are, for me at least, are striking. The first one is when I report about the state of the university, I focus, of course, on what was happening here in the last 7 months, right? From October, from our last Board of Governors, even though it was virtual. So one point I want to mention is that 3 days after the Ukrainian war started, Tel Aviv University was the first one in Israel, and I believe one of the first institutions or academic institutions worldwide that decided to take a step and do something about this crisis, this humanitarian crisis. So what we did, we allocated a fund for Ukrainian students and researchers and invited them to come to Tel Aviv University and to spend a semester here. It started with a relatively modest budget of 1 million shekels, and in a couple of weeks it became about 2 million, close to $2 million, and we have now dozens of Ukrainian students and researchers studying here, working with our faculty, and we are looking forward to welcoming more Ukrainian students and researchers. So this is the first point I want to mention. Now the second one is about fundraising. So I'm very glad to inform you that this year is going to be the best year ever in the history of the university in terms of fundraising. After 7 months only from, right, we measure the fiscal year here starts from October to October. So after 7 months, we crossed, for the first time in history, we crossed the $100 million in fundraising, and we expect to receive even more in the next few months. So that was a very successful year, and of course, those who should be thanked are, of course, the people sitting here and some other people that couldn't beat us today for their devoutness and loyalty to Tel Aviv University. But maybe I would mention one specific donation, and then we'll hear more details in a very short video. So the one that we got just recently was from Len Blavatnik, a new donation of $25 million. That makes the total donations of Len Blavatnik during the years to Tel Aviv University $65 million. Now, this new donation is, on one hand, allows us to continue and to strengthen activities that have been supported by Len Blavatnik in the past, but also to really give an important boost to AI and data science, which is one of the top priorities of Tel Aviv University. So maybe we'll have a pause now and look at a very short video that would...
New projects since Board of Governors 2021. Projects $10 million and above. Expansion of David Azrieli School of Architecture building. Renewal and expansion of Blavatnik Initiative. Morris Kahn Foundation, support for cancer and neurobiology research. Porat Center for Jewish Civilization. Sagol Center for Regenerative Medicine. Projects $1 million and above. Dr. Irving Abramovitz, Chair in Business Ethics. Bloomberg Sagol Center for City Leadership at Tel Aviv University. Caton Goldrich Family Support for Jonah Goldrich Institute for Yiddish Language, Literature, and Culture. Tau Northwestern LLM Program Fund, the Crown Family. New support for Dan David Center for Human Evolution and Biohistory Research. Charles, Evelyn, and Sandra Dolansky Periphery Scholarship Fund. Fields Rand Scholarship Fund in honor of Dr. Anita Friedman. Harel Institute for Actuarial Innovation and Harel Center for Capital Markets Research. Joseph and Vicky Safra Lobby and Entrance Plaza. Strauss Neuroplasticity Brain Bank. Wynn Atrium. Thank you.
So as you can see, this is quite a lot for just 7 months. And there are several other donations that are on the table and probably would be finalized in the next month or 2 months. To mention just a couple of them, one is a new donation of the Israeli Foundation for the School of Architecture. It's going to be about around $15 million. Another one on the internalization of the university, and the third one that I would mention is on our Center of Entrepreneurships. So those are expected to be finalized in the very near future. So let me now report to you about the state of the university. Usually when I speak about the university, it's easy for me to talk about several strategic goals of the university and to update you about what is new in each of those areas. So let me start with the internalization of the university. You know that this is one of our main strategic goals, and it is led by the Vice President, Professor Milet Shamir. I think she is here. Yes, where is Milet? Yes, she is here. And so here are some updates. So first of all, in the last 7 months, we strengthened relationship with some top universities in the United States. I would mention Columbia University and also Northwestern. So as to Columbia, last time I reported to you about a new program that was launched more than a year ago between Tel Aviv University and Columbia. It's a BA in liberal arts. And the idea of the program is that students stay 2 years in Tel Aviv and 2 years in New York at Columbia campus, and at the end they receive a dual degree from both Tel Aviv University and Columbia. But in addition to that, we have a very, I think, exciting kind of a joint venture with Columbia University together with a business entity in the United Emirates around aging, or the way we call it is a healthy longevity. So there is a center at the university on healthy longevity, and the idea of this collaboration with the United Emirates at Columbia University is to make it a really very top and important field that we would develop. I'll say a few words about it later. Now, when it's become almost work, this center that I mentioned, MIT also joined the project, and there are some other very respectable institutions in the world that want to be part of it. Now, Northwestern University is a strategic partner, as Columbia is a strategic partner of the university. There is a long history between Tel Aviv University and Northwestern University. There is the very well-known program between the business school, the Kellogg-Recanati program in business, and there is another one that I was the one who established it together with my friends at the law school a long time ago, which is the LLM program of Northwestern and Tel Aviv. Now we are in the process of upgrading our relationship with Northwestern. So we are working now on a partnership in the field of nanotechnology. and nanotechnology and nanoscience, and also social science. Also with Columbia, we are working now on some other collaborations in engineering, and there are more on the table to deepen relationship with these two universities. So I think I can say now that these two top universities, Columbia and Northwestern, really became strategic partners of the University of Tel Aviv University, and there is much more to do in the future about those relationship. Now, another development that took place recently was the development of academic relationship between our university and universities in the region. You all know about the Abraham Accords, and we were the first academic institution in Israel to understand that to build peace, you need not only top-down, but also bottom-up, and bottom-up meaning to create meaningful relationship, academic relationship, and other relationship. I myself, together with some of my colleagues at the leadership of the university, traveled to the United Emirates a few months ago, met colleagues and friends, new friends at the University of Khalifa, which is one of the top universities in the United Emirates. We also are working on creating academic collaborations with universities in Morocco, Bahrain, and a couple of months ago, again, together with some of my colleagues, we visited in Turkey, and we are in the process of establishing a relationship with 3 universities in Turkey. And I think that this is, in addition to the opportunity to attract students to come to the university, it also creates, or it makes the university party, in a way, to the peace process which is going on in this region. Now, last but not least, this is the Florence project. So I think that you might remember that we have on the table for a few years a kind of hypothetical invitation from the mayor of Florence to have an extension or a center of the university in Florence, Italy. Immediately after, I couldn't say after the pandemic, because this way or another we are still there, but once traveling became possible, we traveled to Florence. We have met the mayor and some other key persons that are working on this project. And just 2 weeks ago, I virtually shook hands with the mayor of Florence, and we agreed that we will inaugurate this center, or maybe extension of the university in Florence, in September of this year, while the physical presence of the university, namely the activities themselves, will take place October 2023. So now it's a reality, it's going to happen, and generally what we are going to have here is a part of the center would be dedicated to studying humanities and arts, and naturally it would attract students from Tel Aviv University and also international students to spend some of their time in Florence. This is a great place to study history and arts, but at the same time, the other part would be on technology, entrepreneurship, business, and that would be directed mostly for the local people there, students, business people, directors, and more. So this is about internalization. Let me now turn to the second strategic goal, which is multidisciplinarity. What do I mean when I say multidisciplinarity? Multidisciplinarity is a kind of a vague word. So what I mean is that since the university is a very comprehensive one, definitely the most comprehensive one in Israel, almost any field of knowledge could be found in our university. We try to take advantage of that and to create an added value by combining fields that may be considered not to be connected to each other, and maybe even sometimes to create new disciplinary or sub-disciplines that have not been known before. In this way, we created, in the last 3 years, 5 new multidisciplinary centers. The first one was in quantum sciences and technology, and then there is one on AI and data science, and there is a third one on climate change, and the fourth one on aging that I've already mentioned. And of course, the fifth one is on combating pandemics. So these are 5 multidisciplinary centers. I'll say a few words about some of them immediately, but before that, I want you to take a glimpse at a video that illustrate what does it mean multidisciplinarity at Tel Aviv University, in particular, how you combine humanities with hard sciences. Oded Lifshitz, who is a professor, a leading professor from our School of Archaeology, will talk about that. So let's see a short video.
Throughout the last 20 years, I've led excavation projects, especially around Jerusalem and in Judah, trying to understand the history of the kingdom of Judah and then the province of Judah in the period when it was under the rule of the big empires. Jerusalem is the roots of the Jewish people. All the biblical history is around Jerusalem, so to excavate there is to actually finding our roots. One of the problems in archaeology is that we never know where to excavate. Like many other sites, the ancient city of David was on top of the hill. The city was up there, but the water was down there. There were probably tunnels leading from up the city to the water. There is no way to discover these tunnels. There is no way to understand the underground of Jerusalem when we don't know where to excavate and how to find it. Together with our colleagues from the Department of Physics, and using receptors of cosmic ray and muons, we put the detectors around the city of David, and then we can get a 3D pictures of all the underground area below the city of David. Already now, we started to discover all kinds of channels and tunnels below the city of David, and it's only the beginning of this project. So this is a real revolution in archaeology. This is a real revolution that we can understand what's going on below the ground, even without excavating it. The amount of information that we can get today from every bucket that we excavate, from every square that we excavate is unbelievable. We can know what was the climate in ancient times. We know what people ate in ancient times. What was the source of every piece of clay? What were the liquids in every vessel that we excavate? And we know what was stored in every vessel that we excavate. We can have a DNA of animals and human beings, know what was the origin where people came from. This project is a great example for how important can humanities be in this kind of interdisciplinary project between hard sciences, social sciences. We're going to the field with many experts, and all these experts are playing different instruments, a big philharmonic orchestra. I think that the cooperation between the two sides, these people from the sciences and we are from the humanities, I think this cooperation is contributing to both sides because we can use these technologies to make archaeology better, but we also push the people from the physics to develop more machines, to think about other questions. We can be the trigger that will take all these different sciences to answer complicated questions, to bring, great discoveries.
You have seen Oded Lifshitz, the other guy that was another actor in this movie, was Erez Etzion, who is the head of the School of Physics. So about multidisciplinarity, one of the centers that it's a top priority for the university to develop more is AI and data science. I mentioned before that part of the new donation of Len Blavatnik has been assigned to that field. Now, AI and data science, why it's so important? Among other things, because it's an engine to all fields. Today, every field of knowledge, even if some people do not understand it yet, would understand quickly that it's really relevant for their field. Let me give you a couple of examples. Take psychology. So we have a researcher at the university working on clinical depressions. And he works with AI. And the idea is to predict clinical depression at early stages. And AI can do it. So he has a very interesting research showing it very clearly. Another example is taken from my own academic field, which is law. So about 8 years ago, researchers from Harvard showed that in certain areas, AI or algorithm, could function better than human judge. So they have made a very interesting experiment experiment in an area which is called bail cases. What does it mean? What are bail cases? Bail cases are those cases in which the judge has to decide whether to release a suspect before trial or to detain him. And what is special about those cases that you can tell in a retrospect whether the judge was right or wrong. Right? If you release a suspect and eventually he or she escaped, usually he, right, escaped, and or alternatively committed another crime, it means that in a retrospect that the judge was wrong. So they took tens of thousands of cases and designed an algorithm to replace a human judge, and surprisingly, or maybe unsurprisingly, the algorithm functioned or performed much better than a judge, with much less errors. And there are many other examples that show how relevant AI could be for law. But it's not only for law, it's for any field that you can think of, biology and many others. Tel Aviv University is going to be the first university in Israel, and I believe among the first universities in the world, that would offer courses in AI and data science to students who are not students from exact sciences. So next year, students in psychology, in law, in economics, in biology would be offered courses in AI and data science, and probably a year later, also other students, including from humanities, would have the opportunity to study AI. So this is briefly about AI and data science. Another center that we established a little bit more than 7 months ago was on climate change. I think it's not necessary to explain to you how important it is to do research on climate change. Generally, this field of environment, climate change, sustainability is one of our top priorities to develop more. There is, of course, the Porter School of Environment, which leads the research and the teaching in this field. There is the Natural History Museum, which recently has been upgraded at the university to be an academic unit. And there are many excellent researchers who work in the Faculty of Life Sciences, in particular zoology and plant studies, that are also very much relevant, working on environment and sustainability. So this is one of our priorities to increase activities and to develop the area more. A third center I want to say a few words about is the one on aging or healthy longevity. So I mentioned before that we have a very interesting collaboration with the United Emirates and Colombia, and now also with MIT. You know, aging is, so during this Board of Governors, there would be a very interesting and important inauguration ceremony of a new center of Sagol family, named after Sagol, initiated by our good friend Sami Sagol, very well known and you know, one of the most generous philanthropists in Israel. And this center of regenerative medicine would encourage both research and teaching of that field to new doctors, or to, right, so doctors would be able to take courses in regenerative medicine in their education in the medical school, and there would be also a track for MD, PhD in that field. Now this field is one kind of a futuristic one, and let me give you a very brief example. So just a few months ago, a researcher from our university came out with a real breakthrough that doesn't happen every year, and not sometimes I would say even not every 10 years. And what this researcher with his staff had done, they developed a technology to regenerate human spinal cord. Now, this is, you know, now it's at the stage of clinical trial. But if it is successful, and at the moment it seems that it's going to be successful, if it's successful, think about what revolution, or what, you know, what revolution could it be for science in this field? You know, think about those millions of people paralyzed, sitting in their wheeling chairs, that their spinal cord would be replaced. Now, of course, we wait to see that it really works perfectly. But as I said, if it happens, it would be one of the most important breakthroughs definitely in last generation in the field of life science. So let's illustrate now what some other researchers at the university do in this very important field of regenerative medicine. Now we'll see a short video of Lihi Adler-Abramovich, who would illustrate to you regenerative medicine. Please.
Hi, my name is Professor Lihi Adler-Abramovich. Come and visit my laboratory of bio-inspired materials and nanotechnology. We are developing nanomaterials, and these materials can be used for bone regeneration, specifically in the field of dental medicine, but they can also be used for regeneration of other organs. When we are young, bone can regenerate very fast, but when we get older, our healing ability is lower. So we are trying in the lab to produce new materials that can induce bone regeneration. We design the materials, we synthesize them and test them in the laboratory. Then we 3D print them to make a personalized scaffold to induce bone regeneration. These materials will be used to treat bone fractures, especially for the elderly population. Burn centers in hospitals will use our materials to help skin to heal after major burn injuries. In this room, we actually do the study. We are using microfluidic device like this one to study the self-assembly of the nanomaterial. We test their biological, chemical, and physical properties using microscope. These materials can be used also for drug delivery and slow release. Possibilities are limitless. The nanomaterials that we develop can affect and improve our quality of life and improve healthy aging. Where do we go from here? So we continue our collaboration with the hospitals and with clinicians. And together with industry, we would like to take these new materials that we develop in the lab to the next level and to actually treat the patients. We would like to treat patients in Israel and worldwide, and this can really make an impact.
So I've talked until now about two main strategic goals. The first one was internalization, the second one multidisciplinarity. Let me talk now about the third one, which is a relationship of the university with the industry, high-tech and biotech industry, and also with hospitals. So maybe let me start with hospitals. It's somehow connected to what Lee mentioned in this video. You know that Tel Aviv University has no less than 17 hospitals affiliated to the university, including the biggest one and the best one, Sheba, Soraski, and Rabin, Bellinson. And now we are in a process of making very important steps to deepening relationship, research relationship, institutional relationship with the hospitals. And that means that we are working on constructing centers, university centers inside the hospitals. So we have already done it with Soraski Ichilov. We established about a year ago a center for gene therapy, and we are now in the process of establishing additional new centers, one on digital medicine and the third one on neuroscience. We're also working with Sheba on having at least three centers of the university in the hospital. One probably would be cancer research, another one on cardiology, and the third one on imaging. And the same thing is going to happen also with Bellinson, Rabin Hospital, and probably also with others. Now, the idea here is that once you have a center in hospital, the collaboration with doctors, with clinicians is much more vital, much more intensive. In addition, it gives us also the opportunity to bring our computer scientists to bring people working on AI and data science being part of the centers and to use the medical data in the hospitals for furthering their research. Now, in addition to hospitals, we deepen relationship with the high-tech and biotech industry. So we have some long-term and some shorter-term plans about that. So, for example, we just established a new center that we call T-Labs. We take about 10 laboratories, which are especially attractive to the industry, put them in one space, and we have a number, about 10, both national and global firms that are club members. They pay an annual fee, and they have some non-exclusive rights in the inventions done in those laboratories. This is one step that we have taken to deepen relationship with the industry. Another thing is that we are building a multi-story building that would be offered to startups and R&D of firms who want to collaborate with researchers at Tel Aviv University. Of course, the idea is to bring only those startups and firms that our faculty has an interest in. So it's not about who pays the highest rent, not at all. It's not about money at all. It's about bringing those potential collaborators to the university, bring them closer, and as I said, encourage them for more collaboration with us. Last but not least, there is a long-term program to have a technological park next to the university, in a walking distance from the university, on the east of the university, together with Tel Aviv municipality. It's still in initial stage, but I believe that in about maybe 5 or 6 years, so it's, as I said, it's a long-term goal, and we might have this technological part again that would serve Tel Aviv University, would serve the municipality and the state of Israel, and eventually science more generally. So these are the 3 main strategic goals that I wanted to mention. Let me say very briefly that, of course, there are many other things going on here which are no less important. It just, I have to focus on something, and because time is short, so I chose to focus on these 3 strategic goals, but let me mention very briefly some other things that are going on. One thing is about innovative learning. So we are doing a huge effort now to transform our methods of teaching and curriculums in many faculties, using digital materials more often and so on. This is a very important effort led by the provost, Professor Mark Steif, who is here with us, and the dean, the new dean. It's a new position that we created about 2 years ago, the Dean for Innovative Learning. So this is one thing which we can talk about for hours, and probably the provost is more suitable than me to talk about it. He leads it very effectively. Another thing I want to mention is about community and diversity. So Daphne mentioned the new commissioner that has been appointed actually less than a year ago for diversity, equity and diversity. A lot is going on in this field. Another thing about community that I would mention, that there is a new initiative that has been concluded recently, which is the Bloomberg Sagol Leadership, City Leadership Program at Tel Aviv University. So you know that at Harvard there is a Sagol Bloomberg Mayor's Leadership Program. We are going to have such a program here in Israel starting October, led by Moshe Tzviran, the current, the former, I could say, right? Current former, it's just, there is a new dean for the faculty of, the Kohler Faculty of Management, and Moshe would lead this initiative. And so Mike Bloomberg was here about a month ago, and we have made a formal inauguration of this program. And you'll hear more maybe later this afternoon when we inaugurate 2 new funds for the program for students coming from the periphery of Israel. Gary and Katie is here, and we'll hear about it more later in the day. And also Jeffrey Katz is here. Jeff, are you here? Maybe not. Okay, so we'll talk about it later. And okay, sorry, I'm missing. So you're here. Thank you. And there are many other things, but I think that I would conclude by thanking, first of all, the provost of the university, my closest partner and friend, that without him nothing could happen here. And my vice presidents, I've mentioned Milet Shamir, and for international collaborations, Dan Pe'er for research, and the one that all of you know better than you know me, Amos Elad, who is sitting here. I want to thank Eli Gelman, she is not here for some reasons, but he's the chair of our executive council. And of course, Daphna, my friend, Daphna Meitar Nechmad, our new chairwoman of the Board of Governors. And most of all, well, and of course, all the deans and the head of the schools, I'm just a conductor. I myself do almost nothing. It's just the staff, the people working with me, or those are the people should get the credit if credit is deserved. But most of all, I want to thank you. If we didn't have your support, our university would be like a college. We would have enough money from the government to pay salaries, but not, and to have maintenance and so on and so forth. But that is not enough. And because of your support, because of the donations that we got from you, we can do and make the university such a great university even greater. There is another person that I don't know how I forgot to mention. Of course, this is Gadi Frank, the Director General. Where are you, Gadi? Trust me, a key person in this university. Everybody knows how lucky we are to have Gadi, and there are many other people here, Mary and others. And of course, I need to, last but not least, to thank Ronnie Goldstein, my Chief of Staff. She's also here. And Yael, Nomi, and Avigail, who works with me shoulder to shoulder. Without them, I'm lost. Thank you very much.